I'm sitting here trying to make a Instagram post of this quote from Devo site. I lost track of time, but that happens sometimes.
Get ready to laugh out loud with Wise and Nerdy, the show hosted by two hilarious dads who are bringing their unique blend of wit, wisdom, and nerdiness to the airwaves. From sharing hilarious anecdotes about their own experiences to giving advice on navigating the ups and downs of life, these two dads have got you covered. But that's not all. They're also obsessed with all things nerdy, from comic books and sci-fi movies to video and board games. So whether you're a fellow dad, a pop culture fanatic, or just in need of a good laugh, tune in to Wise and Nerdy and join in the fun.
Oh, and fun it is you are joining into.
Whoa.
Okay, man. All right. Peepaw Kurt has swapped up the blue pill and the alfalfa pill again. I don't know what to tell you.
I'm just trying to figure out when we're going to cut the audio that I recorded.
Joe has it. I don't have it. Maybe if I get it by Saturday, I can do something with it. I'm sure it's somewhere.
I haven't downloaded it. I do need to download it and cut it, but
did you though? More importantly, and more to the point, did you get the email I sent you tonight?
No.
Oh, wow. Oh.
No, like I literally didn't receive an email from you.
No, not you, Joe.
Oh.
Because I sent him some audio. Joe. We're fussing at Joe, Kurt. We're teaming up to fuss at Joe.
You sent it at me 40 minutes ago and didn't mention it at all during the pre-show or anything.
Everybody, back to one, this time with meaning.
Get ready to laugh out loud.
No, I'm just kidding. Whoa. Random kid, welcome. All right. Well, I have recorded and cut this evening a bunch of new audio clips and sent them to you, Joe.
Apparently.
And this is one of them.
It's the question of the week.
That's the squeaky little dulcet tones of Zoe wanting to jump in. I can't wait. When we get to commercial break, tell me, because I got a great one for that too. So the question of the week is this. If you could change one thing about yourself, what would it be? And Kurt, you don't get to talk about the weight because you've already done that, baby. You've already killed that thing. So, all right. What would you guys want to change about yourself?
My shirt.
you want the one that Phil was wearing.
No, I sent him the one that he was wearing. I sent that to him for his birthday one year.
That's funny. That is funny.
I am horrible at procrastinating, as Kurt knows, because I haven't chopped up his audio.
Oh, okay. Okay, I saw a bad dad joke coming. I'm horrible at procrastinating. I always get to it later. It's like, come on, Joe, be better. Be better. I saw that joke coming a mile away.
I don't always get to it later.
But he didn't even get to the punchline of that one. I mean,
that was the punchline of that one. I hate both of you so much, Joe. You guys are killing me. You guys are killing me. There's probably more than one thing I would change, but honestly, if it was like a magic wand, you could just tell the genie your wish and it's done. It would be to stop letting other people's opinions get to me or what's going on with other people. Stop wasting so much energy thinking about and worrying about other people when I don't need to. That one is ended up kind of being a tough one for me lately. So welcome to the show, everybody. It's going to be a fun ride.
Well, it's funny because I was thinking about this. I think, again, changing, if there's something I could have changed, I think I probably would have put away more money early on.
Man,
and it goes back to stuff that we've talked about already, but I think I would have. Just because you never know what's going to happen. I mean, I think that things like my wife, and only because I spent the day in the hospital today, on on a schedule, like we were supposed to be there. So so nothing weird. But my wife has multiple sclerosis. We've talked about this a little bit, and you know we didn't know about that when we first got married, and you don't plan for that that kind of thing. So because you never know what's going to happen is really what it is. So
yeah, man. All right, back to you, Joe. What else you got?
did mine. Yep.
Kelsey's not watching. You can say,
she is.
You can say, you know, something that would get you in trouble.
That's more of a wise and dirty talk.
Nerdy after dark.
Only the patrons know what that's a reference to.
That's right. It's worth it, people.
Roll that dice.
Oh, so we're just letting them get away with no answer. All right, cool.
You gave a little bit of answer.
I talked about procrastination.
You talked about a little bit. Hey, while you're doing that tonight, I want to shout out. We've got some new patrons, Sharon Carlton and Debbie C. Those, that was Kurt doing his DJ explosion voice there. It sounds like just a cat, a stray cat.
Oh, it is. It is. I have a cat right here that I just pull the tail and it makes that noise.
That's it. Wow. Joe, what we roll?
It's personal story time.
All right. Hitting that already. So I've been wanting to make a change in my life here lately. And both of you are going to have two sides, or not two sides, but stories to share along this line. And there's a question in it. And first things first, Joe, I'm seeing what your wife put in the chat, that you're perfect.
Yep, true story.
I didn't realize. I didn't.
You didn't read that completely, Charles. He's a perfect emoji. Is really. What that
I don't know what to do with the you. If you start your marriage on lies, the whole thing is built on lies. So we got some good counselors for you. Me and Kurt can hook you up.
Yep.
So I'm just going to phrase it like this. I'm tired of being fat and tired, and I did Noom a while back, and it worked pretty well for me. And I just hit this plateau. We've talked about other things, other adventures I've taken, and I've kept most of the weight off. You know, that's not been the problem. But I have been stressing out lately and different things. But now it wears differently, and I don't think my shirts have shrunk. Some of the shirts I used to love wearing, I don't believe they've shrunk. I've just put the weight back on a different spot or whatever, and I hate it. I hate it. And not body shaming myself. I'm just telling you, I put on the shirt and I'm like, this sucks, because it fit well 6 months ago, a year ago, whatever it was, right? Yep. And it's just going differently. So second part of the story is I never get a gym membership because I just don't make myself go. I will burn that money.
Mm-hmm.
To that end, my company has been sponsoring this Crunch Fitness gym. They took out a sponsorship on one of the gyms and got some corporate accounts, but they kept it limited because they know there's lots of people. So the requirement is you have to use it at least once a week. I think they're encouraging twice, and they even pay for sessions of private one-on-one coaching, those kind of things. And I've just been watching the owner, my partner, go through it, and he was not a shabby guy. I mean, he was never overweight like I am, but he was not in shape, and he decided he was going to change that. And like the other day, I just saw him, and I'm like, can you stop flexing, or are you just sitting there looking at me? Because, dude, and it's just showing, and he's happy, and other people are doing it. And so I've reached out and committed to doing that, knowing that I'm not going to, because I've got so much other stuff I get yelled at. I'm not going to get yelled at about this, so I'll go just to be that incentive. I want to go to the gym they're going to because there's some one-on-one time, right? I've met one of the coaches over there, but it's too far away. So here's what I'm afraid of, is failing at it, right? Not continuing to go, letting life get in the way, not making it important, and not just being a disappointment to myself yet again, but to also now at this point, them who they're believing in me, they're encouraging me, they're helping, they're paying for this thing. That's the first fear. The second fear is it's a whole new thing. And I hate randos, as you all know. I hate going, and so I can be very private, but I do want to get a coach because I want that connection with somebody to look forward to. Hey man, I might only get 1 hour a week, but I get to come see you, change my life, to talk about things, whatever. That's why I wanted to go to the gym where Brian and some of the others go, because you could have some of that time together. But
right,
it's a little scary, to be honest. So I know both of you have gone through your own journeys, and now's your turn.
Joe, do you want to go first? Because I'm going to be pretty wordy.
I mean, I'm currently the heaviest I've ever been, so you go.
Okay. All right. So the first thing I'll say is that's really cool that your job is sponsoring a gym and you can go at least a little bit for essentially free. Is that the way that works?
No, it's included. Yeah, I just get to go for free.
So that's awesome.
Yeah.
But I'm going to tell you that often when we go to lose weight and we try to do too much all at once, and fully 80% to 90% of your weight loss is going to come from food, not from the gym. The gym is good to do for a lot of reasons, but weight loss is not one of them. It's just not efficient. It's like the fourth most efficient system in your body to burn calories. It's really not. It's not efficient. So if you're wanting to actually make a change in your weight, in fat loss specifically, then just concentrate on your food and then add the gym later. And I know that you've got this benefit at work and whatnot, but gym phobia is a real thing. I didn't consider going to the gym until after I lost 100 pounds. And then it took me a good 3 or 4 months before I set foot in the gym because I was just nervous.
I get that. Yeah.
I just didn't, I didn't want to look like I didn't know what I was doing. I thought for months, even when I got in there, that I was the fattest guy in the gym. Now, I probably wasn't, but that's the mentality. Like and then you're being judged, that is the other thought. When really, and no matter how many people told me this, it didn't matter. The fact of the matter is nobody gives a crap about you in the gym. They're working on their own stuff and basically ignore you unless you were to strike up a conversation or ask them about something. But otherwise, everybody's doing their own thing. Almost everybody's got headphones on, concentrating on their own thing. So I don't know. There's a whole bunch of things to unpack there, but really, weight loss, food, gym, exercise, good.
I need to move more, and that's one of the reasons I want to jump into it. Joe said here, someone once told me that diet controls weight and exercise controls fitness.
Yep.
I've never had the fitness, and I want that part of it. Yes, I'd like to shape some of my body too. That will help my shirt fit better. It's not, massively. And then, I've never been under 300, but I always hit a plateau at about 310 or 315. And that's where the exercise would come in. I think I got loosey goosey with food for a little bit. But I've reined that back in pretty easily. And I'm trying a new app. I couldn't find it on my phone today. I have to look for it again, but their AI is getting better and better. So they're making apps that what I said I needed in the first place. Like, okay, when I make a dinner, I know the calories, but when I go somewhere, it's not like I can just go, oh, I can just guess what's in this. Actually, no, vice versa. Sorry. I can go to like a restaurant and they'll say has this many calories.
Right.
But if I just make something, it's guess. So I'd love, there's supposed to be some photograph, photo.
There are, but honestly, if you're making the food, that's the easiest way to keep track of the calories because you can actually weigh stuff.
I remember where I had difficulty somewhere.
Well, eating out can be difficult, like no question about it, because they use all kinds of stuff And some restaurants don't even put the calories on them, depending on where you go. And again, depending on the state, because some states require it. But
I thought they were required to have them posted if you asked for it, like they had to have some kind of sheet.
it's based on the state. It's not
okay.
It's not a federal thing.
I know
It's,
big chains, will have it. A lot of the big restaurants, fancier restaurants, 3, 4, 5-star restaurant, McDonald's even. But there's definitely, like, if I go to the Chinese restaurant, there's no calories in anything there.
Yeah,
not in Georgia anyway.
I got it. There's no calories in there. Got it. Yeah, so you can eat there calorie free.
Yeah. So like one of the apps or the main food tracking app that I use is called Lose It, and they attempt to figure it out based if you take a picture of your food. They do attempt to do that. It's not great, but if you're making food at home, there's no reason why you can't have accurate calorie counts, because it really is. It's all about measuring the ingredients. So food scale. Get a food scale for home.
Oh, I have a food scale. It's for making special sugar.
Yep, I understand. And broccoli.
Wow, if I could make broccoli, there'd be a whole different world to live in. What are we even doing here? Who are you people? What's going on?
Roll that dice.
Charles has dementia now.
I pretended to be Kurt for a second.
Council of Dads.
All right. This is mine again. So back up. The council, here's what I need the council to rule whatever, touch base. Random Kid, Lincoln Prime, y'all are here right now. If you're on listening to this on the podcast, email us wnnshow@gmail.com. We'd love to hear you weigh in on this. When to let something go versus confrontation. My dad is very non-confrontational, so I saw that. So when I was younger, I was very confrontational on everything because it was the worst. I know, huh? Yeah.
Wow.
But the true nature of what I have going on is there's just a lot of stuff, especially now that I've matured and gotten older, where it's like, it's just not worth it, right? There's just a lot of stuff I either internalize and don't confront people on that that becomes bad, or I choose to let things go. What I'm struggling with right now is a bit of a specific example. But last weekend, I think it was, my wife just texted me and said, hey, I did something, you won't like it. Now she drives Lyft, and a lot of times she does something like she'll turn off the digital meter for a senior citizen, whatever. So yeah, no, I shouldn't do that, but that's fine. You take care of somebody, it's whatever. Sometimes she'll get a little bit shady in some areas, but she feels safe. So I thought it was related to that. Like she took some crackhead down the street, but she's okay and whatever. No, it's a picture of a little kitten. And I was like, yeah, no, what are you talking about? No, we as a whole do not like cats. I really have some deep-rooted hatred for the feline species. I do not want them around. I'm so forced to have some wild crap outside my house because I live with a bunch of animal lovers, and those are not the words I want to use, but they're the words that Joe will allow on this show. So
Hippie Evie.
it's man, that's another discussion for later. What's animal loving versus no, you're not. Anyway, we hate cats. My daughter's been asked for whatever, and she's like, and sure enough, she had rescued that kitten at some stupid car wash, and I'm really upset because there's other things going on in life. There's a lot of stress going on, and there's a lot of areas I do not feel valued in as a person. And when she did that, it was just did it, done. We already have 2 small dogs in our house and a cat that just showed up one day, and we got tired of fighting with it and dealt with it. But we said that anyway, and then 1 or 2 stupid strays outside. It's just so frustrating. And then so I went to confront her one night. So is that it? You're just going to sit there and be snarky about things? I said, that cat cannot stay here. And she goes, or can't be here, or can't something here. And she's like, but it already is. So she's snarky about it. I was like, hadn't addressed it. Now I understand there's some other issues, but here's what I'm asking: the confrontation, when to let something go versus confrontation. It's a little cat It's not a huge deal. There are other things I'm working through in my life that will deal with being valued. But I'm afraid that if I let it go this time, I don't want the fight. And I feel like where she is in life, there's just everything's primed for a fight right now. But I don't want this to be okay. Like, oh, well, we just did it and he'll just get used to it and get over it. Dad, husband will be fine. And it's not fine. And I don't want to be fine, but I don't also want to start a fight when maybe I'm bringing more stress to it. So what do you guys have to say about that? Mr. Perfect, embrace the _perfect_ dude. What do you got for me?
Clearly you need to go to ChatGPT and ask them how to tell them when to tell them and how to tell them that you don't want a cat. Yeah. That's clearly what you got to do, because you're all about your AI overlords. So head on over to ChatGPT, type it in, let's see what it says.
Kurt, what happened here?
I don't know. I really don't know what he's talking about. All right, so here's the thing. What value does you not letting it go bring your life?
I want an open and honest relationship with my wife that we've not always had. Mm-hmm. So I can say, I want to be able to say how you did this was, it really dug in deep.
Right.
It really does. And deeper than it should, but I also don't want to make a big deal of it. Like, I don't want to take away the joy my daughters are having. I just want them to understand that's it. That's not how you handle these things.
Okay.
So I don't know.
That's okay. That's a good answer. So there's two things at play here. The anger, right? Because you're angry about it. And then the concern about how it happened.
Yeah.
They're actually two separate things.
Okay.
I think you can let go of the anger. And I know it's hard. I struggle with this every day.
Well,
but
to be fair, she really ought to have talked to you before making that decision that impacts the whole family.
I think so.
But if we take the anger part of it out of it,
well yes,
that allows us the ability to have that rational discussion and just say, look, I understand why you did this, but you have to understand where I'm coming from, why I didn't think that was right. And have a calm discussion rather than, you can't keep doing this crap.
Yeah.
Right. And it's hard. It's really hard because we're emotional people or beings. And, and in the heat of the moment, there's a reason it's called the heat of the moment. Right. And so I think that, one of the books that I read when I first started doing the 75 Hard thing was The Subtle Art of Not Giving an F. And the whole point of it is you have complete control over what or how you react to anything. And because we often will just say, well, look, I just snapped, or I did this, it was just, I didn't even think about it. I just reacted. Well, that absolves us of way too much responsibility. So we just got to take a step back, and it takes time to learn how to do it. And it's way easier for me to say not being involved, right? I'm not great at it, but I do know that once I take a step back, I liken it to, have you guys both seen A Bronx Tale?
I have, yeah.
Okay. It's an old like mafia type movie. Joe, you really should watch it. It's awesome.
It was like an independent film that I think
Chaz Palminteri is the guy who wrote it.
That's it. Yeah.
He starred in it. De Niro was in it as well.
Yeah.
But there's this kid, and it's De Niro's kid in the movie, and Chaz Palminteri takes him on, and kind of mentors him in the thug life. and this kid is chasing this other kid, Joey Beans, and Joey Beans owes him $20, and he keeps chasing him all over town. And Chaz Palminteri's character goes, "What are you doing?" He goes, "Hey, Joey Beans, he owes me $20. He keeps ducking me." And Chaz Palminteri's going, do you like this kid? He goes, no. He goes, so think about this. $20 and you never have to deal with him again. You know, I mean, it's just a different perspective on what the cost of that anger really is, right? Versus what do you get out of it? Like if you let go of the anger of the cat thing, then it could be that you de-stress on it, your wife de-stresses on it, and it allows you to sit down and go, look, I know you wanted the cat and I know you wanted to help, but it's a really big responsibility and you can't just spring it on me.
And I know I would have said no. I know because all the reasons. And she's like, well, because you would have said, of course, but I didn't bring 2 dogs in the house just because. We talked about it. We looked at it. It's how he did things. Yeah, I mean, it's there's a lot to it there, and there's more than I'm going to share right now, Lincoln. About I get it. If it's just a small issue, you can take away that stuff. Always take time to reflect. Look over another perspective with having the cat kill you. In this case, not literally, but yeah, I am. I don't want to take the 5 hours of sharing my entire married life story, but I've been encouraged upon in my life just increasingly. And I put up with stuff that lots of husbands wouldn't. It has nothing to do with anything outside the marriage. It's just family issues, stuff like that. Just, it's a lot.
And if you'd like to hear that story, sign up at patreon.com/wiseandnerdy.
There you go, Kurt. Absolutely.
Don't call me not an opportunist. Okay. So the only other thing I really wanted to comment on because it's in the chat, Lincoln says you could always use this for leverage sometimes later. And I'm hoping that Lincoln was kidding.
Well, the little robot tongue thing there.
That's why I'm hoping that Lincoln was kidding, because that is some evil crap. Like you can't, we joke about it, but you can't really use that. That's just when you start leveraging these things, it's a problem.
He says, I am kidding. Wink, wink.
Okay, good. No, no, there was no winky emoji. That's good. No, good. Because we
totally wink, wink.
Yeah. Joking about it's cool, but actually saving it to use for leverage later is not cool, and it's just evil.
I did like random kids comment. You could take inspiration from Mafia on how to handle the cat. Go what?
I was just going to say, probably shouldn't go around killing cats. Like a sociopath.
Roll that dice.
Not like a sociopath.
No, but
like a cuisine from another country.
Like a planned out, meaningful killing.
A culling. Yeah.
Bad dad jokes.
Oh, there's Zoe again. Popped up.
and let's face it, cats would kill us if they could.
They would. They really.
Love, Death, and Robots on Netflix. Both seasons have the cats and the robots. Yeah.
All right. We've got a bad dad joke from Civilian. He says, I tell dad jokes. Sometimes he laughs.
That was totally possum.
Tails by Bob. We'll see him at Dragon Con. He's all about the possum.
Wow. Very happy that we didn't do a bajillion of those at Southern Fried this weekend. That crowd was a good crowd. They only did 3.
All right. You want a better one? I got a better one.
No, I did not. I did not complain.
Where do bad rainbows go? To Prism. But don't worry, it's a light sentence. It gives them time to reflect.
Nice. That wasn't even cat related.
That one comes to us from KCJ.
Oh yeah, I think Joe, that joke really wasn't cat related, so it must have been a faux pas.
No, come on, man.
I'm really feline this This whole string
No,
of events.
no,
Roll that. dice.
no, no.
Roll that dice.
Charles,
No.
you just have a bad catitude.
Roll that dice.
Go on, you're killing me, boys.
That's double six. That's bad dad jokes again. We need some more.
Joe.
Have we done this one?
Hey, what was it?
Daddy, tell me a story.
Yep, we have done that one.
We did that one.
Am I just rolling all the ones we've already done? No.
While Joe is rolling,
We're
hey
doing
Charles,
2 sections.
where do you find a cat with no legs?
Where have you left it?
Yep.
Oh.
Where we
Time
get?
for a commercial break.
All right. Hey, wait, I told you. This is a new one for the commercial break as well. And it is this one. Here we go.
Let's get paid.
All right. Let's get paid. Everybody,
That was-
like Kurt said, where did you say they could go to get some more stories?
They can go to patreon.com/wiseandnerdy for more cat jokes.
Oh, no. Not more cat joke. Let's just zen out for a minute. Oh, no, I thought you were going to say something clever. Come back. Like, wiseandnerdy.com, call dad or something.
You can sign up at the perfect 9 lives level.
No. Oh, my God.
wiseandnerdy.com/calldad.
That's right. Oh, but this is going to be my favorite. She just came up with this on her own.
Let's get paid.
That's pretty good.
So, all right, roll some dice.
How do I?
Live without you. Okay. You two gentlemen are the perfect people I thought of to bring
Thank
this
you.
to.
Oh,
Well, we know just
my
Mr.
wife already
Perfect.
said I'm perfect.
Kelsey, are you seriously looking me in the eye right now on YouTube? You looking me in the eye and saying you never had a negative thought about your husband ever? Not even, man, I wish he'd move his shoe. Not one negative thought. Look me right here for the podcasters. I'm looking at the camera right here in my eye. All right. Guy-
Early on, she definitely had some negative thoughts about me playing too many video games. That's for dang sure.
did you?
Yeah.
Okay.
We're PB and J. He's a peanut butter, and I'm allergic. Okay. Within the last 2 weeks or so, the world had the blue screen of death, right? And it was like, oh, is this a hack? Is this? And everybody blamed Microsoft. It turned out to be a security company named CrowdStrike.
Yep.
To my understanding, rolled out a patch and things went south. And both of you, I know, have insights on stuff like that. But then I have some questions on it. But can you, from your guys' standpoint, the question everybody asks is there not just an undo button? There's not just a, hey, roll this back button. Why did the patch go so bad, you think? And what could they have done about it?
I don't know.
Only cat answers.
I don't know their internal workings as far as an undo button, because from my understanding, it was relatively few files in the update that caused the issue. Now, that's us talking after the fact. That doesn't necessarily mean they diagnosed that as the issue quickly enough to roll it out. And in the realm of big issues, because I mean this is a global issue,
Yeah,
a few hours to fix it isn't horrible to diagnose the issue, figure it out, and roll it out. And they've been taking a lot of flack about, hey, why did this even make it to, production? Why did this get pushed out without testing? So apparently they normally have a rather robust quality assurance process, but This change was done under, apparently they call it a rapid response content. In my line of work, we would call it an emergency change ticket. Every company has their own vernacular, but basically this did not go through the full validation process. It got pushed out as a hot fix, and they really should have done a lot more testing.
Well, yeah, and it could have been, and only because I've worked on software like this, not this kind of software, but just software in a situation where the last version that went out the door sometimes bypasses QA, and we don't like to talk about it, but it does. Yeah. Or it could have been that QA noticed something and they said, "Well, we got to go," and they made the decision to go anyway. What's really interesting to me was that this is very much an enterprise level software. People were freaking out that their home computers were going to get blue screened, and
because that wasn't made very clear of why the blue screens were happening. Because they're enterprise,
the media doesn't know anything, right? So they fearmonger because it brings eyeballs. But so really we heard about it, and because we do IT for a number of companies, like we've got just a lot of small, medium-sized businesses, none of which use CrowdStrike because we don't deploy it. We use different software because it's really not appropriate for that level, and frankly, they can't afford it. What was rolling out a fix or a workaround is all fine and dandy. But what people fail to really understand is that these updates generally happen in an automated fashion, and rolling back generally doesn't. It can, but it generally doesn't, because once you've made the update, people still have to get that. And how do you get a rolled back update on a machine that's blue screened?
Well, you just got to restart it 15 times, right?
Maybe.
Actually, I don't know, man.
And the manual fix is actually not that difficult. Yeah, literally, there was a folder that you had to go into, delete like 2 or 3 files, and you'd be good to go. But
all the local IT. Well, I mean, we're talking about like airlines. That's not a local IT. That's still a remote in kind of thing, isn't it?
Well, they have their own IT departments, but generally speaking, for the airlines, they probably.
Yeah. I mean, it's just crazy. I got a bigger question though. With that, we talk about monopolies and like, oh, we can't let Amazon be the only online seller. We can't let Microsoft be the only computer maker. Blah blah blah. How did we not go? We might want to segment out some of our enterprise stuff and not put one major security company over all of it.
I think that's a red herring, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Because the thing is, people generally will source third-party apps based on A, reputation, B, cost, and effectiveness, really.
And Microsoft, right?
Yes, it impacted Microsoft systems specifically this instance, and so any company that was using, say, Mac-based stuff or Linux-based stuff, they weren't impacted with this.
Right.
In addition, even at the company I work for, if your computer was turned off, so this all happened. Actually, last week while I was working on the show notes, I looked over and my work computer blue screened just randomly. I'm like, oh. And so I just assumed it was our internal patching that they pushed it out and it failed. I didn't realize the impact until the next day when my work phone was blowing up with all of these. Nobody can log on if their computer was attached to the internet. And so there were a lot of people within my company that were able to log in because their computer had not been connected to the internet or had been shut down, and so they didn't get the patch pushed out to their laptops. But yeah, it was, from my understanding, it was very much a chaotic day at my work. Luckily, I was already on PTO, had scheduled PTO for that day.
Yeah, because you were coming to Southern Fried.
Yeah. So because I didn't know which day of Southern Fried we would need to go to, so I just took that Friday off ahead of time to make sure that I had it. And so I was like, oh, my work phone's blowing up. I'm on PTO. I don't care.
Right. And I mean, and the other thing to consider, Charles, is like, there are many security software bundles and companies out there. And so the ones that weren't on CrowdStrike, like frankly, all the ones that we support that were not on they're not on CrowdStrike, so they weren't affected. However, think about if we take the security aspect out of it, Microsoft Office, right? There's a reason why most Windows businesses or businesses that run with Windows are have Microsoft Office. Some of them will run Open Office, or LibreOffice, whatever they're calling it today. But by and large, people just run Microsoft because it's really effective. Everybody uses it and does what they need it to do, and it's cost efficient. You can make an argument for, well, I think that companies should not use Microsoft Office because if everybody uses it, they could be vulnerable. Well, they could be vulnerable with any piece of software.
This is true.
It's really what it is. I mean, think about this. What if Steam had an update that crashed Windows computers?
Well, Xbox had an update that took all of their systems offline fairly recently, within the past month.
Yeah,
and
I saw some of that.
Not only did it take everything offline, but even a lot of people's digital purchases, like they downloaded it to their system, just because they can't ping the Xbox server, they couldn't play even though they had it downloaded locally. And so, yeah, that was a big snafu too. It's a different crowd of people, but these things do happen.
Yep.
So, but CrowdStrike has commented that they are going to be taking some steps. One thing that really baffled a lot of technical people is they did not have a staggered rollout. So a lot of people.
That's what I was wondering, because you've talked about that before, Jeff.
Yeah.
Doing time
So
zones
even when we were doing Pokemon Go podcast, Niantic always had a staggered rollout because of time zones, and so New Zealand always got the butt of all the issues because they were the first ones to get the rollouts. But CrowdStrike did not have any staggered rollouts, so they pushed a button, or automated. They had it ready, and they had it scheduled, and it just delivers to everybody.
Right.
So in the future, they're planning on doing a staggered rollout so that they can catch issues within the first iteration of the release.
Okay, that seems like a. What are you talking about? How do you not do time zone rollouts?
So there's another aspect of all this.
Okay.
And people are going to be not liking this comment, but the companies that were affected bear some responsibility. And the reason I say that is because, for example, because we are the IT for a number of different companies, right? We never, ever roll out patches on Patch Tuesday.
Because everybody rolls out patches. Right? That's a big Microsoft patch.
That's Microsoft's patch day. They do a Patch Tuesday, right? We always hold for at least a week, most often 2, just in case.
Let everyone else have the issues first.
One of the patches. The fact that they rolled out the night before and everybody was affected the next morning, the IT departments for those companies bear some responsibility. You never roll out a patch right after it's released.
So
I'm honestly surprised my company was on it like that, because they are usually on most other updates, they are pretty slow on the uptake. So I'm kind of surprised they were.
I'm trying to understand.
So quick on it.
CrowdStrike rolls it out, it hits Microsoft, whatever.
Yep.
But you still somehow have a gate on your side to say, yeah, not yet.
Absolutely.
You have to accept the patches.
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
Like all like for our company, we have third-party software like Adobe and whatever, right? And Microsoft patches. When those patches hit, they go through our monitoring system and we say, do not install these until a week or 2 weeks after they've been released. Because at that point, because Microsoft is really good about quickly saying, oh my God, that's a bad patch. and they roll that back.
Sure, yeah.
That gives that gap of time, the time to have that rolled back and pull that patch. We always do that. We never, ever roll it out right away. In fact, the only time that we've ever run into issues is where people do it themselves.
Yep.
And so the companies, I do believe, bear some responsibility. Maybe not as much as CrowdStrike, clearly, but there is some responsibility there. You got to take care of your own stuff.
Man, the question becomes then, how many different airlines do they maybe contract with the same IT company? Because they all went down seemingly at the same time, except of course for Southwest, which I think this is not a joke. I think it's true. Southwest Airlines was not affected because they use Windows 3.1. Is the word? It's the word.
I'd have to see that to believe it.
I would too, but I also know that Hugh, his family business for the longest time, kept a specific computer and used whatever they had to do to make it work because their dad had written a financial program that tracked everything. Hey, there's Hugh. Where they had written a financial program to track everything, and it was Windows, I think 98, right, Hugh? And he kept having to do it, and I walked him through like an XP, and it worked okay. Then finally, after we're in like Windows 10, like, dude, would you not just go look at QuickBooks? And he's like, and he did, it worked. But my point is, they had, still do Windows 98 is what he put. And I mean, 3.1 is ridiculous, but if it's a stupid, simple software, you don't need smart computers to run it.
Well, and there's niche companies that they will make modern hardware that runs emulators of older operating systems. So if you are banking on this computer that's running on one gimpy leg, if it is crucial, you can buy modern hardware that emulates older operating systems. It comes at a premium, but those companies do exist.
Right. And the risk there are security updates that just aren't there anymore. But and any holes that exist. Right. So you have to fortify your firewalls and things like that in a different manner.
Sure.
So the Southwest thing, complete rumor.
That was a great story.
The fact of the matter is they don't use CrowdStrike. That's all it is.
I'm trying. Okay. So the security from, dang it, it's a hard word to say. Because I would say cloud, but it's CrowdStrike.
CrowdStrike. Yep. That's just a piece.
It didn't go to Microsoft. It went straight to the clients, and it just borked.
So here's the difference is, CrowdStrike is a Microsoft Windows application. It's just a software product that people use for security.
And it probably has kernel level access, which is why it was able to blue screen everybody.
Right. And so some people use it, some people don't. And just like if you want to make PDFs, some people use Foxit Pro, some people use Adobe. Right. It's the same type of thing. And so Southwest just doesn't use CrowdStrike. They use a different security package.
There you go.
And so yeah, and it's just it's one of those things. But as far as like why did everybody get it at the same time? It's because, well, I'll bet you anything, smaller airlines did not, because some of the smaller airlines probably have less computers to manage, and so they probably use a different software product to save money. And and they may have held back, or they may have held it back. I mean, we didn't hear about people that weren't affected.
True.
Other than Southwest with the rumor.
Right. Which if I were Southwest PR team right now, I'd be all over taking fake pictures of Windows 3.1 computers. I'd have a Tandy 9000 somewhere. Like, yeah, we got you. We'll fly you anywhere.
You know what Southwest's response to all that was?
What?
Yeah, so we're now assigning seats. So no more running through the gate to find the seat that you want. That was their press release this week. Now you have to pick a seat.
Good, I guess. Sometimes it got brutal. I like picking a seat. I get it if I don't get my right seat or whatever, blah, blah. But getting that, okay, A1, that's the golden ticket right there. And if you're like F30, I cannot tell you how many times somebody came up and was like, what are you 24? You're D24? D23. You got to move. I'm like, I would have moved. You don't have to be ugly about it. I like Southwest, but their fans are horrible. Much like Star Wars. Southwest is the Star Wars of airplane. Yeah, that. Oh my God. Their fans are caustic. It's horrible. But yeah, I love you, Tyra. So what would you guys have done differently if you were CrowdStrike?
I think
more testing.
Well, again, we don't know the level of testing, right? We really don't know what the behind the scenes.
Did they even say what they were actually hot patching?
I don't know what the patch was actually supposed to fix. No,
it literally could have been a general security update.
I mean, it had to have been sufficient that they thought they needed this rapid response content version instead of the fully validated version. So it must have been some kind of important enough hotfix, or at least they felt it was important enough to push it out without the full validation process.
Well, Joe, go ahead, Kurt.
I was just going to say that usually happens when they find a vulnerability that allows potential hacking, right? I mean, that kind of thing. So
they're like, you can't get hacked if you can't use your computer. Yeah, working as intended.
Yeah, it's a feature now. It's a feature. But Joe, you said sometimes your company does emergency fix tickets. Mm-hmm. What's the testing / rollout process in that scenario?
To be honest, it depends department by department here.
That breaks my heart a little bit too. Wait, we should have some universalism. I would think we'd have some universalism in what you're dealing with, but sure.
But in general, it's fix it now and fully test it later, and then go to have a meeting with the directors explaining why it was necessary. So
obviously, it really depends on. I mean, it could be that the version of the software that's being tested just won't boot, like it just isn't working. So you got to get an emergency fix so that people can actually be productive.
And most of the emergency fixes that I've been a part of at the company have been due to external causes. I haven't had one where it's CrowdStrike, but where we've had a patch that has been deployed to a software, and then all of a sudden one of our things doesn't work as it was supposed to anymore. And we're like, we better fix that right now.
Yep.
And so we've do an emergency change to fix the functionality that stopped working because of someone else's patch.
But I'm pretty sure you've never borked your computers by doing a hot fix.
No, so maybe I'll say the worst thing I've ever done at my company in another story.
Oh, write it down. So, all right.
That I still get poked fun at 10 years later.
What are you nerding out about, guys? So I'm gonna guess this is Joe, my spy, the Eternal City.
Sounds like an anime to me.
It is not.
It's totally.
It has David Bautista in it.
Look, Kurt. That's a dead-on anime. My Spy, the Eternal City.
And this is a
I can tell you what the anime is all about.
No, fair enough. You actually, no. To be fair, Joe, the if that was actually an anime, it would say "My Spy: The Eternal City of Cheeseburgers in Paradise."
Okay, something like that. My Spy:
and how I
made it
became
to the Eternal City with no credit to my name.
Or
how I
underwear.
became OP by studying under Shaolin monks. So this
Sorry, you triggered me real quick. I literally watched an anime tonight where the episode title was "A Strong Enemy Appears." That's the title of the episode. All right, cool. Let's rock.
I respect that more.
Yeah.
So My Spy: The Eternal City is a sequel to My Spy. So if you are unfamiliar,
In the 80s, would we call this straight to video?
it was a Prime Video. I don't know who actually made it, but I watched it on Prime.
So it did not go to the first one went to theaters. It's actually quite cute and fun.
So you have seen it? I don't know if this one went to theaters or not. I don't know, but I have no idea. I don't pay attention to what goes to theaters these days.
Joe doesn't go to theaters. He wouldn't know.
Yeah, pretty much. But yeah,
they don't let my magic popcorn bucket with my magic underwear go to the theater.
Kelsey and I canceled our Prime a while back, but because we paid a year in advance, it's finally going to expire like in a month or so. So we're like, hey, let's see what's on Prime. So I turned it on. I saw, My Spy, because we had watched the first one. The first one is rather cute. The second one isn't quite as good, but it's still good.
That little girl, that actress, she was phenomenal. She stole the movie.
I do remember that now. I remember I did see that movie, the first one. Yeah.
Yeah, her acting is probably better than Dave Bautista's.
Probably.
It's so if you haven't seen the first one, it's a cute little one where this little girl and her mom live on the same apartment complex as David Bautista's character, who is a spy, and ends up getting involved in his spy work and is completely infatuated with the spy world, and it's really cute. The second one was okay, but then there's the elements of teenage angst in there, and so
it's no longer actress?
Yes, it is, but it's no longer this cute little girl who loves spies. It's the teenager who is rebelling against her father figure.
Is the Eternal City another name for Hong Kong?
No, it's another name for the Vatican.
Oh, did not know that.
Yeah. And so it was good. I enjoyed it. The first one is better. The end.
I'll watch it. I'll watch it. It doesn't have to be a great movie for me to watch.
It was enjoyable.
Sure.
And that's what really matters, right?
Look, and Dave Bautista is compelling. Yeah, he
may
not be a great actor, but he's just fun to watch.
Did you watch Stuber?
No, but I really kind of want to.
It's dumb.
Yeah,
but it's funny because he leans into the goofy guy trying to be a badass, and I think he's more of a cheese. Honestly, I think he probably as a person is more of a cheese ball than the meathead or the strong guy he plays on wrestling and everything else. But yeah, Stuber, it's so bad, but it's fun at the same time. It is. Rome, not the Vatican. So Rome's the Eternal City?
Yes.
Okay. Hugh asks, is it a cute version of The Professional?
It has been so long since and I don't think I've ever even seen The Professional all the way through. That's the one with the assassin, and it's got.
I'm sorry, Joe was immediately fired.
And it's got not Keira Knightley.
No,
not Keira Knightley. And you can't watch The Professional and not finish it. What is wrong with you?
I think I saw snippets of it when it was on TV when I was a little kid.
Oh, Joe. Yeah, we're gonna have to have a movie watch night.
Natalie Portman, that's the one I was trying to think of.
Yeah,
and Leon, The Professional, and we need to watch the unrated, uncut version because it's so much better.
And if you'd like to watch that with us, go to patreon.com/wiseandnerdy.
Actually, you're not wrong. We've done one watch along with our fans, and
they keep asking when we're gonna do another one, and we really ought to. We were gonna watch Akira.
Yeah. It'd be. I know we
like
can't.
20 years since I've seen that. So
same. Yeah.
I've never seen Akira.
I literally watched it. Now this is the age of the movie and myself. I watched it when I was able to rent it on VHS from Blockbuster, or from not Blockbuster, wasn't a thing, but from Hollywood Video or somewhere. I don't know.
I owned it on Laserdisc.
I miss Laserdisc so much.
Me too. Me too.
Thing. Such a cool thing. I
Yep.
watched the Raiders of the Lost Ark on Laserdisc as a kid. It was amazing. Scared the bejesus out of me, but it was amazing. So I want to turn you boys on to something you would enjoy. You might have in your area. If you don't, keep track. Yeah, shut up, random kid.
If you say 7-Eleven, I'm disconnecting right now.
No. Oh, okay. Okay. Joe, are you in on that? Because I'll do you both right now. 7-Eleven. No. This app's called Too Good to Go. TOO. Good to Go. And my wife's been tracking it through TikTok for, she says 2 years. I think it's been a year. It started off in places like New York City and San Francisco, and it is a save the earth kind of movement thing, but it also helps follow. I know Kurt follow here, because they're like, you're saving so much. If it's so much food is thrown out from restaurants that it all the things that goes with it, everything about the trash piles, all this other stuff, that's the save the earth part, but it helps the businesses as well, because if you can legitimately sell it without going, well, people are just going to overcook and save it and everybody will wait in line. That's always been the conundrum. Well, we have to throw it away because we don't need you stealing it by making too much stuff.
Right.
So Too Good to Go solves that problem, that if it's in your area, restaurants can sign up. Circle K as a brand actually partnered with them, and they're about to launch on tomorrow. They launch tomorrow, to where you get surprise bags, mystery bags, if you will, from restaurants, and you can go in. And the restaurant, it's not every day. The biggest one is Krispy Kreme.
Okay, but sold at the Circle K's? So
No.
bags will
Okay,
be sold at the Circle K's?
No. I'm not sure what Circle K is going to put in their bag. Circle K is going to, so you use that Too Good to Go, and you can find the business. So like, I'm going to use Krispy Kreme, because that's one of the businesses in our area that does it. It came to Atlanta here in the last couple of weeks, and we've been, my wife and I have been playing with it. I've already discovered some good food. But so Krispy Kreme was, our offer is a dozen donuts. It's a mystery box, $5. If you know the prices of Krispy Kreme, a regular dozen of donuts is like $15. A mixed dozen is close to $17. But they said $5 and some change, I think it was. And they tell you come between these hours. And I think in our case, it was 8:30 to 9:30, right before they closed. And you say, yep. You, of course, attach a payment to it. You purchase it, and it tells you. And then before you even purchase it, it doesn't put a menu. It never promises you what you'll get. It says you will get something. The company, they're very clear. The company, the owner, the person says it's worth this much, and it shows you, and it crosses out, and you're going to pay this much. And so we did that, and of course we knew what Krispy Kreme was, but if you didn't, you could look at, some of them have, like Krispy Kreme will have a website you can go look at and see the basic idea of what you'll get. Another one we did was called Haka Bistro, and it said you'll promise basically something along these lines. You'll get some fried chicken or some fried rice or some this kind of noodle or that kind of noodle, but you'll get something of value. So you don't get to pick, but you'll get something. It's leftovers, right? It's stuff that's going to get thrown out. We sure enough roll up to Krispy Kreme after we placed our order, right after 8:30. It told them we had a Too Good to Go order. It's a cool pull around, and we just show them there's a little code on the phone. We showed it to them. We slid it to pick up. The guy went in, and in this case, it was a mystery, which we loved. Yeah, dumpster diving plus DoorDash. Yeah, kind of. We liked it because it's a mystery. My daughter did it, and she ended up getting to pick out the one she wanted. But basically, they're going to, these are ones that we're going to throw out tonight. They're still fresh. They were made that day, but they're going to throw them out tonight. We got a dozen. Man, we got 4 of the brand new Paris Celebration donuts, the 2 different kinds of them that are the higher end that they charge like $1 extra for. We got 4 of those. We got some glazed donuts. It was a cool box to open, and for $5. And on the app right now at that same Krispy Kreme, it's $17. But
is that the one you were showing me at Southern Fried Gaming that had that deal on Indian food?
Yes, because you were with me when my wife first texted. Like, oh, look at this, and yes. So we did play with it, and we actually discovered a ghost kitchen close to us called Decatur Food Depot that has, I think, I counted 24 restaurants, and some of them name brand, like What the Cluck and Juicy Crab. And so they're name brand restaurants, but it's not a go and sit down. You can order ahead of time. You can DoorDash it. You can walk in and touch a tablet. And this place is huge behind the scenes, and they'll cook it fresh. And they bring it, so you'll actually get what you would have gotten in whatever that restaurant. Some of them are not necessarily name brand restaurants, like Haka Bistro wasn't, but they didn't have it left over. I think they were using it as an advertisement. Hey, come here. So we did actually get about $30 worth of stuff for $10 from the bistro, and it was good too. And now we know about the place, and now we might order. So there's two ways, but you do have to be careful because we kind of got into it, and it's like, oh, cool. There's this other one, and it's supposed to be baked goods. It's this thing, and we could not find a menu. We could not find a website. The address said it was a CBD shop. We're like, well, no, because we also with the Food Depot, the address actually put it 2 blocks up. The GPS was not quite right for Google in that case.
Okay.
So random kid. No, I am not saying that. So we're like, okay, whatever, we'll try it. Well, sure enough, I go to Glenwood Avenue in Atlanta, and I find the address, and it's a CBD smoke shop. I'm like, well, okay, maybe we went Cody Fingers baked goods. Let's see what you got. We've already paid for it. No. One, it was a little, even for me, it was a little dark and seedy, like the street light. A block up, all the lights worked. Right here, not so much. And right there is townhomes that are not the safest to be around. And so I went in. I was like, all right, well, maybe I'll get some CBD gummies or something. Who knows? And nope, he went in the back and brought out this cup of trash cake, like somebody had left over a kid's birthday cake and just shoved it into a clear plastic cup. It was supposed to be worth $15. It wasn't even worth the $5. I was like, whoa, wait a minute now. I'm a brave soul, but I think about the people. Let's say Kelsey was using this app, and she goes, oh, I want to try some new baked goods in my area. And let's go try it out, because we've tried a couple different bakeries near us because of this app. And dude, Joe, can you imagine Kelsey rolling up on a dark CBD smoke shop? I hope she wouldn't even go in, but if she did, it'd be like, what's going on? So we had that. We actually reported that one to the app.
Okay, I was gonna say, do they have a way to report shady stuff like that?
Yeah. So actually, as soon as you get it, the first thing they do is like, how many stars would you give it? And kind of like a generic Google rating is like friendly service, this, that, and the other. But there's a box, and it says, what did you get in your bag?
Can you does it allow you to put a picture?
It does. And so you got to type what you got in your, it's not always a bag, but that's what they phrase it as. It's a surprise mystery bag. Yeah. What did you get in your bag? And so, yeah, you can type it in and you got a picture. And I did that. But then I also went and reported that, look, I did the whole story about it. It's a CBD shop. It's not saying, it's like, I asked the guy what was in the cake, and he didn't even know. He said his sister made it, and it's not a real bakery. It's not a real restaurant. So wait. No, Lincoln Proxy. No. That's a good callback. Wait. Did she use this to find the cat? No. The cat was worse. So, so that, I think, hopefully it's in your area. If it is, it's definitely worth a try, especially if you recognize the restaurant. So the whole Circle K thing is, I guess, you're getting more into making, all the quick stop places like Quick Trip, 7-Eleven, Wawa. We're getting a Wawa in our area now.
I am jealous of that.
Yeah.
Very jealous.
But they have like an in-store little restaurant, right? They can make pizzas and sandwiches. So I'm assuming Circle K is branching into that, or, who knows what it's going to be, what they're giving. But it is literally a gas station food stop. So we're curious to see, because there's one on a corner from us. But Joe, you already mentioned it. This weekend, we got to hang out together at Southern Fried Gaming Expo. I wanted to hear what excuse me, what one of your, hey, Kurt. So we're just going into the Southern Fried Gaming Expo from this weekend. Joe, what was one of your favorite, what's the favorite story you want to tell from that?
Oh, when I blew up.
Kurt's face is great. Kurt, so do tell, Joe, what do you mean when you blew up?
So Charles has been doing this game show at a bunch of different conventions over the past year, where What's it even called? I can't remember what it's called now.
Well, thank you so much, sir. I appreciate the promotion.
It's
you just
fun.
Gave me. Yeah, Fandom Face Off is what it is.
Yeah. So it's a game where it's kind of trivia, but really it's about
it's all about jokes to make me laugh is all it really is.
The way to succeed in this game is to read the room, because there is no correct answer. There's a lot of wrong answers, but
they're pretty much all wrong answers.
There's no correct answer, and what you are trying to do is give the answer that is the same as the majority of the rest of the room. And so that's how you earn points. And during the second phase of this game, if you are in the minority, and in the second phase, there's 4 answers. So you have to...
So it's harder to get with the majority.
It's harder to get into the minority. But if you are in the minority, you lose all of your points and you blow up.
And it's a very interactive phone game with it on the screen. So there's like graphical explosions of your name and all this stuff. Yeah.
Yep. Okay. And so this was an hour-long game that we did. For about 20 or 25 minutes, I
think more like 35 to 40 minutes, sir.
I was in the number 1 spot. At one point, I was like 600 points ahead, and
this Kirk face is killing me.
And I had like 3,200 points. So 600 points is a pretty wide margins, and and so everyone is rooting for me to go down, and so finally I start intentionally trying to blow up because I know that being in first, the crowd is gonna love it when I blow up. And so I had a few where I picked the second to lowest one, and then I finally it was like, if you have to catch a disease, which one would you want to catch? And I picked Lyme disease, and so I blew up due to Lyme disease.
Yeah. So from my perspective, I'll tell you more in chronological order. You almost always see the positions change, right? And there's up to 20 names on the board. People love seeing their names up there. It's a great competition. And we have like 34, 36 players. So only the top 20 on the board. So everybody's trying to do it. And in most games, it's like, oh, we're going to take number 1 down. I'll pick up, say, oh, you're coming up. And, it's just you playing the crowd against each other. It's fun. Right. And then, so we're about, I think maybe just 10 minutes in, I see Kaiju number 8's number 1. I'll get to that. And, I was like, checking this name. Who's this? Who's that? After like the 5th time, I'm like, who's Kaiju number 8? Joe raises his hand. I'm like, no, man. I'm wearing my Wise and Nerdy jersey with his face on it. And like, okay, this is Joe. We just did the show over here. He's my partner. I'm telling you that because I am going to be brutal on him because I am not liking him right now. And it was great because it did. We just kept building this. And every time, every other answer he got right, I'm like, I finally looked at him like, dude, I'm gonna take your phone away. I swear to you, if you don't start losing, I'm gonna kick you. And of course, the crowd loves it. So sure enough, now the question got messed up because I didn't hit save. But originally, the original question that popped up is, if you had to catch them all, which one are you going to catch? Right. So it's very much a Pokemon theme. Oh, it's going to be Pokemon, except they were ready for this trap because my favorite question, it took like 30 minutes to come in for them to realize, oh, they knew they weren't great questions, but like, oh, you're just messing with us to entertain yourself. And they get the joke, but it's like the worst anime ever, EVAH, ever, worst anime ever, Kurt. We threw up, Joe, what was it was like
Attack on Titan.
Attack on Titan's like Juju. I mean, all the big Demon Slayer,
Jujutsu Kaisen, Demon Slayer, and Avatar: The Last Airbender.
They put Avatar: Last Airbender. So they're supposed to be these great. I mean, and everyone's like, "Oh, why would you do that?" And I was like, "Now you understand why we play the game." And so yeah. And then Joe was on one of the few that got the real joke inside of that, which is Avatar: The Last Airbender is not an anime. Although he's like, you probably didn't even know that. It's like, Joe, I crafted these with Phil. We Googled this stuff on the computer. We're good. And
then another question was, what's the best anime? And none of them were. It was like Futurama and Gargoyles. And
I just love it so much. So we get to this thing with the and it's supposed to be like lick-a-tongue syndrome and Pikachu pox, and I hadn't hit save, and so it only saved the original diseases, which was mononucleosis, chicken pox, Lyme disease, and influenza. And it was like, because you have to pick one, and it comes up with this big graphic, and the board goes, and it shows 7% pick Lyme disease, and somebody in the audience goes, "What psychopath picks Lyme disease?" And
it was just me. I was the only one that picked it. Nice. And the crowd.
Wait. No. You told your part. So the timing was perfect because he just it was me, and I hit the space bar, which rolls over to the board, and everybody has whips to the board. It's time to go. And when we, the old radio thing, then the crowd goes wild.
Right.
It blew the room out. I laughed for a good 45 seconds to a minute. I just could not go on. It was amazing. And then this joker couldn't leave good enough alone and had to top off the cherry of the ice cream. Like, I died of Lyme disease. Now I need a portable sticker maker so I can make catchphrases for people and give it to them before they leave. Nice. So my favorite moment, I mean, that was exciting and great, and the whole thing was fun. We had Mark Gunn be our guest because he's here local to Atlanta. He and I've been friends for a long time, so I just called him up. And no, Phantom Face Off is not going to be at Dragon Con. People keep saying, we'll tell that. You know what? We'll tell that story in Patreon of why it's not going to be at Dragon Con. It actually goes with the theme of this whole show. Anyway, Mark Gunn came and I didn't tell him bring your music. I said, we're doing this. You'll be our guest. We're doing this interview style podcast. I gave him the basic rundown and kind of grasped it. Didn't go listen, which is fine. And Joe's like, oh, maybe he'll play the lullaby song. And I said, no, Joe, I didn't ask him to bring nothing. We're good. Well, sure enough, he just brought it anyway. He brought his harpsichord with him anyway. So I said, cool, Joe's hoping you bring it. We'd love for you to be the commercial break. And so when we got to that point, Kurt, and rolled the dice, and it's time for commercial break, he pulls the harpsichord out, and it's a 3.5 minute song. He plays the lullaby song, which is so perfect. Have you?
I have. Yeah.
Okay, good. For those of you who hadn't heard it, Joe, we do need to look up when Kurt's talking about saying, we'll look at the title. But it's about go to sleep. There's monsters under your bed. Don't get out of bed. It's so great. So he sings it so lovingly, like a loving father. It's amazing.
All right. So apparently it's called Close Your Eyes and then in parentheses lullaby.
Right.
Okay. Gotcha. Mark Gunn, that's on Irish and Celtic Music Podcast, or is it on the Podfather? We'll find the link. We'll put it in our show notes. We'll find the link here.
I put a link to the YouTube.
There you go. And I'm putting it on the screen. So if you're watching the video on YouTube, you'll see it on the screen at this time. Okay. So that was beautiful. And then he shared this heartwarming story at the very end, because we talked about tell me a story, and that's the only time it kind of got serious. A crowd. We had 20-ish people in the room. I mean, and the room only held like 40. It was a smaller room, smaller con, but they filled the room. They interacted very, very well with us. But Mark sharing that story and playing with us and had so much fun. And then right before I had to run and go then I was immediately going over to do Phantom Face Off. Mark stopped me real quick. It's like, man, that was that's a really great format. I'm like, cool. I'm glad you liked it. Cause for me, it's just so fresh and fun. It's a whole game every time we get on the show. So it was a great crowd interaction. And I'm looking forward to us doing what we're going to do at Dragon Con with Wise and Nerdy. And just blow it out. I hope you pre-plan some bits, Kurt, maybe, and have your commercial break ready or something. And we'll talk on the Patreon about some of the bits Joe and I have talked about with some people. But yeah, that was
we'll definitely need to talk. Yeah.
So we talked about Disney's Balto last week at length. Why are you putting it in again? I don't understand.
It's not Balto for one thing, and Balto wasn't even Disney.
So Balto 2. Yeah. Electric Boogaloo.
Yeah. So I can't stop playing this game. I bought it on the Switch as well, so I could have it portable. It's good. It's good. It's And Charles,
Yes, sir.
do you remember
The time
when you started playing Marvel Snap?
Yes.
And it was nice, right? Because you get to do like one match in like 5 minutes. Like
Yes.
it was like really quick, right? This has that kind of thing. Each match is 3 rounds. You're playing by yourself. It's a solo thing. And
I thought it was on Xbox for PC, but it is not. I just searched it.
Yeah, it might not be, but it's $15.
Well, I want to play on my Xbox. That's the only reason I looked at it.
Oh, yeah.
I play. Yeah. So, side note, 3 out of my 4 kids are into gaming and streaming now, and they like to use my studio. So we almost have like a corporate sign up rental space.
Yeah.
So I play on my Xbox in the house.
Yeah. So, but it really is like poker meets a deck builder meets roguelike.
Yeah. So what is the roguelike part? Because to me, when I hear roguelike, I basically simply would put it gets harder in certain areas and you can just go anywhere you want. And when you die, you lose everything.
Well, no. So roguelike generally is it's randomized. Like
is that what roguelike is?
Yeah. I mean, there's because back in the olden days, there was a game called Rogue. Which is which kind of was a variation or an evolution of NetHack, which was also like a variation of a game called Larn, which is just a dungeon crawler, but it changes every time you play.
Okay.
and really, not only did the maps and everything change, but all the items would change as well. So there was no guarantee. Like it wasn't like Diablo where you would always meet the butcher on level 1.
Okay, you played Chase the Spire?
Slay the Spire.
Slay the Spire, yes.
And I still do.
Yes, that's one of my favorites. So how does Balatro compare to that?
It's different, but that's about as close as you can come to a comparison. Like if you like Slay the Spire, and I know you do.
Oh yeah, you know I do.
This is very similar. There's just no map and no separate paths.
Okay. And it's poker.
So it's based on poker. It's based on the rules of poker, and then you pull jokers that change the rules.
Yeah. Gotcha.
So basically you progress by like level 1, the first match of the game. Level 1, you have to earn $300. And you earn that by poker hands give you X amount of dollars, right? And then you have modifiers that increase those, multipliers and whatnot. And so each level, you have to earn more money. But based on how you put the deck together, you might. Like you have a wave, like you get 13 cards of 4 suits, literally a deck, right?
Okay.
As you go, you might be able to get rid of your clubs and increase the number of diamonds that you have. And so you concentrate your deck building on the diamonds, and then maybe multipliers on those. And maybe, every time you play a full house, you get a further multiplier. And so there's all kinds of these wacky rules. If you've ever played Flux.
I like Flux.
Yes. Yeah.
So
my daughter
it's kind of like that, where the rules, there are no rules to start with Flux. It goes ultimately no rules, right? Other than draw a card, play a card, right? But ultimately, the end in Flux is determined by what is played.
Yeah, because the win condition changes by what's played.
All the time, throughout the entire game.
Right.
With this, the win condition doesn't change as much, but how you get there completely changes.
See, I like that. That's pretty fun.
I just think like there's a demo. There's actually a demo on Steam. Play the demo.
Okay.
And then the next thing you know, you'll be spending $15.
I'll probably get on the Switch because
it's great on the Switch.
Yeah, because like I said, my kids really are monopolizing game time in here. but on the Switch, my wife might play. It'd be fun.
Like Slay the Spire, it's kind of perfect on the Switch.
So I love that so much.
I bought Slay the Spire on the Switch as well as on Steam because it's good. It's so good. So.
I have it on my personal iOS account. I have it on my Xbox. I have it on what is now Zoe's PlayStation. And I need to check my Android to see if I even bought it there. I love Slay the Spire so much.
Yep.
It's the best. So we have a little bit of show business to end the show tonight to talk about things. First off, apparently, Joe forgot that we do speak pipes at the beginning of the show. So I guess we're going to catch those right now.
I think it'll work. I haven't listened to these, but based on the title, it could be what Devo's site is nerding out about.
When Doom came out, I remember downloading it to a floppy at work via our 1.5 megabits per second T1, which was pretty awesome at that time. I sneaker netted to my little bachelor pad A-frame house, called my friends and told them they just had to come over and see this amazing game. Fast forward a week, we had 4 PCs, 10 base 2 coax networked together, IPX loaded up, and blasting the ever-loving pixels out of each other. Then Doom 2 came out, played that a bit, installed the Barney mod, love that. And we moved on to Heretic, which used the Doom engine. We played that a whole lot. And turning each other into chickens. I don't know. It's been a while since I played that game, but we had a lot of fun with that too. But those were the days.
Those were the days.
Charles, you were talking about Doom Eternal. And you said, hold on, I wrote it down here.
Oh, Lord.
All of the buttons are being hit at once. And to that point, my brain is very sharp. I'm very skilled. I can definitely play the game. So what you're saying is...
You can't touch this.
However, you went on to talk about how you got to a big boss level and had to drop the difficulty down. So what I heard was... I'm a loser, baby.
Oh, Lord. So I think Devo's got the producer bug.
Devo is the Dickie Goodman of phone calls. Look it up, kids.
Oh man! And
now, Kurt, right?
And now Doom can be played on all kinds of stuff that wasn't intended to play.
Somebody played it on a Tamagotchi or something.
So one of the companies I worked for, when we were interviewing an engineer, he actually brought in his TI calculator and he had programmed Doom to run on his calculator. So I told you guys that I know the guy who wrote Doom, right? Like I worked with him.
I don't know if you
John Romero. Yeah, John Romero.
You worked with John Romero.
Yeah, in 2 companies before Doom was ever a thing.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah, so and he lived in my apartment building, and frankly, I owned his piano for years. Because
he would. I was going to ask if he would remember you, but I think he would remember you.
He might. But he got real big after that, and when people get real big, they forget their past. So, but drugs. He left town in a hurry and said, "Hey, if you can get the piano, you can have the piano."
There you go.
And so I went to our landlords and I just said, "Hey, I bought this piano from this guy." And they say, "Do you have a bill of sale?" I said, "No, he's just a guy I worked with, and then he moved." And they said, "Well, if you pay the $25 storage fee, you can have it."
I mean,
$25 for basically a brand new upright piano.
Nice.
So,
that's a steal.
Yeah.
Did you know Carmack?
No, because Carmack lived in Texas at the time.
Okay.
But yeah, John I worked with at Origin early on, and then I was in a small startup called Inside Out Software, and we did the Commodore 64 and PC versions of Might and Magic 2. Which, funny story, I was responsible for doing some of the CGA artwork for the PC version.
What's CGA?
Yeah, CGA, you have a palette of colors like magenta and aqua and black and white. And they literally created like 2 to 4 color artwork.
Okay.
It was terrible. It was like you had to be really creative and boy, look at go back and just do an image search on CGA graphics from the late 80s, early 90s. It's not good, but it's what we had to work with until EGA and VGA came out.
Well,
I just looked it up.
Yeah, it's not good.
Speaking of becoming a superstar, forgetting your past, August 7th on Be Awesome Together, which is the Dragon Con digital media track show that we do every Wednesday night. It's at 8:00 on twitch.tv/DC digital media. I'm going to get reminded of my past. So we're celebrating 20 years of me being a digital creator, and the 2 guys who had one brain who got me started here are going to come on and share stories of how I got started with them. We're going to, of course, have memories of their show and talk about different things we've done. And I've got a special guest from that era coming on as well. And it's all going to be hosted by Phil Keating. So
buckle
not
up.
Family friendly, buckle up, but my past is not necessarily family friendly either. So it's just going to be all holds barred, no holds barred. There's no holds and there's no bars. We're all drinking alone tonight. August 7th, 8:00 on twitch.tv/DC digital media. My past goes back to haunt me, and it's going to be a blast. I'm looking forward to it so much.
And it's easy to remember because it's the day before Elvis's birthday.
Who? All right, we can get
Actually, it's the day before he died, but his birthday's in January. But still,
I have no idea. Now you know who would know that? Mike Woodard.
Elvis.
So hashtag shut up, Mike.
Yep.
So no, Elvis is dead. He wouldn't know anything. Play the other speak pipe.
That I did play both of them. I just did it so seamlessly you didn't realize there were 2.
So he went from
it was Doom. There was one about Doom, and then there was one about Doom Eternal.
Oh.
This is why Phil hates you.
So good.
This is exactly why Phil hates you, and I'm starting to see it. I'm just
waiting for you to stop your yapping.
Oh,
Grandpappy said he was ashamed of me.
Well, speaking of being ashamed and yapping, I've got a vote to pose to our audience. We have a number of people come out live on what night is this? Thursday night. And we dual stream. We are streaming to twitch.tv right now and YouTube. And we want to know, if you had to pick one, where would you rather be, YouTube or Twitch? Now, we're going to discuss it off the show. I just threw an idea to Joe earlier today, but I like the idea of people being able to talk to each other. But and we're not saying we're changing, but if we were, would you pick YouTube or would you pick Twitch? You can go to patreon.com/wise_and_nerdy. $5 donations votes for Twitch, $1 donations votes for YouTube. So come inside. No, seriously though, wnnShow@gmail.com. You can get in there. I think I can still do a poll on Spotify, which if you go, I guess, Kurt, what is it, Spotify.com and find the show? I don't know.
Yeah,
they could just comment on the YouTube video.
Yeah.
There you go. You can comment.
That's an easier way to do it.
There you go. So the best way still is Patreon. Just go vote with your dollars. We always say vote with your dollars, people. So I think
those are the only votes we really read. So.
You're not lying. I got one more thing. I've been sipping on some scotch tonight. So tonight's it's like Sesame Street. Tonight's episode is brought to you by the letter K for VO by Kurt, because that's not the letter K, that's the letter V. But also Kurt's face. It is also brought to you by New Riff Bonded 100B. That is the 1.5 ounces to 2 ounces of scotch I've been drinking tonight. So thank you, Kurt. It was New Riff Bonded 100B.
Oh, okay.
All right. Thanks for asking. All right, everybody. Join at the Scotch tier level at $13 an episode. And I'll have a drink with you at Dragon Con. Shut up, Mike.
rock god of podcasting, Joe at Joseph_Ard. Check out the website, wiseandnerdy.com. And as always, they may not be your father, but they'll always be your daddy.
And VO by Kurt everywhere. Shut up, Mike.
My kids are better than yours.
You got my cheese whiz, boy. Nice.